Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Eve Arden stars as that bedraggled school teacher, our Miss Brooks. This broadcast, an April Fool's Day show, if you will, aired the day after April Fool's Day, April 2nd, 1950.
Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth and help stop tooth decay. And Luster Cream Shampoo for soft, glamorous, caressable hair bring you Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden. It's time once again for another comedy episode of Our Miss Brooks, under the direction of Al Lewis. Well, it usually takes a few days, but Saturday inevitably arrives, and when it does, our Miss Brooks, who teaches English at Madison High School, gets a chance to sleep late. Yesterday, she didn't join her landlady in the breakfast nook until 10 o'clock.
Oh, good morning, Mrs. Davis.
Good morning, Connie. How did you sleep last night?
Not too well. I have a little cold, and that cat of ours bounced into my room just as I was dozing off.
Minerva. But she was only playing with her ball, Connie.
I don't mind her playing ball, but I can't handle these night games that go into extra innings. Believe me, the next time Minerva keeps me up until
not so loud, Connie. She'll hear you. And you know how sensitive she is. See? She heard us mentioning her name.
Please, Mrs. Davis, I know Minerva's bright, but you're attributing an intelligence to her that she doesn't actually possess.
Oh, but she does. I'm sure she recognizes her name.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Listen. Minerva. Hi, Minerva.
There you are.
Wait. Here, Charlie. Nice Charlie. How are things, Bessie? What's new, Max? See? Minerva doesn't even know whether she's a boy or a girl.
Why should she? She's only 2 years old. There are certain things I'd just as soon keep from her until she's older.
Me too, and let's start with my nylons. Thank goodness I've got this one pair left for my date with Mr. Boynton this afternoon.
Oh, do you have a date with Mr. Boynton today?
No, but I'm going to suggest it as soon as he can get away from Sherry's department store.
Sherry's?
Yes, he's pinch hitting for a salesman friend of his who has a dental appointment.
But, Connie, are teachers permitted to do anything but teach?
Oh, of course, Mrs. Davis. Especially if there's no money in it. Now, I'd better get started if I'm going to go downtown.
But, Connie, I have to go to a ladies' aid meeting today, and if we're both out of the house, she'll be all alone.
Who'll be all alone?
You know. Minerva.
Oh, great. Now she can spell. We'll only be gone for a few hours. I'm sure she'll be perfectly all right.
No, Connie, she hasn't been herself lately, and I just wouldn't feel right if I left her alone. Say, I know what we could do. Harriet Conklin has always been very fond of Minerva. If you could drop her off at their place on your way down to Sherry's.
All right, Mrs. Davis, I'll drop Minerva off for you.
I wonder who that can be.
I know a surefire way to find out. Come in.
Hi, Mrs. Davis, and to you, fair flower of the faculty, 1,000 salams.
Thank you, Walter Denton, and I've had my share, thanks. But to what do we owe the honor of this visit?
Oh, I just happened to be driving by when the thought occurred to me that maybe I could give you a lift someplace. After I help you finish breakfast, that is.
Well, now that you mention it, you can. I'm going down to Sherry's to pick up Mr. Boynton.
Oh, just a minute, Connie. I was about to suggest that you borrow my car for the day. Then you could take Mr. Boynton for a nice ride in the country.
Yeah, way out in the country.
But, Mrs. Davis, what about you?
The ladies' aid meeting isn't very far, Connie. Walter can drop me there, and I can always get a ride home.
Mrs. Davis, you've made yourself a deal, and thanks very much.
Not at all, dear. The keys are on the table in the hall right next to your hat and coat.
I'm on my way. Will you excuse me, Walter?
You go with my blessing, O fairest of the fair. May 10,000 suns shine upon this meeting with your beloved.
Thank you, Ahmed. On my way out, I'll give your camel a lump of sugar.
Oh, Connie, aren't you forgetting something? You said you'd drop off you-know-who at the Conklins.
Oh, sorry, Mrs. Davis. Come on, you-know-who.
Oh, isn't that cute? She won't budge unless you call her by name.
I know. Let's go, Clyde.
I don't like to hurry you, Walter, but if you'll finish your milk now, I'm rather anxious to get to the meeting. This being the first of the month, it's rather an important one.
Say, you're right. Today is April 1st. April Fool's Day. Gosh, I better get busy. I haven't even thought up a way to plague our beloved principal.
You better leave Mr. Conklin alone, Walter.
Oh, not a chance. Let's see now. He's crazy about television, but so far he's been too tight to spring for a set. Oh, wait. It's coming. It's coming. A real wild goose chase.
Oh. Finish your milk, dear. As soon as I get my hat and primp up a bit, I'll be ready to go.
Oh, take your time, Mrs. Davis. I got a phone call to make anyway. Here we are. First, I'll tie this handkerchief around the mouthpiece. There.
Osgood Conklin speaking. Be brief, please.
Hello, Mr. Conklin. This is the Lucky Gold Mine program calling. Wallace Bacon, your spendthrift quizmaster on this end.
Bacon? I don't know any Wallace Bacon. I don't believe in wasting my time in talking on the phone to people who obviously don't know the Lucky Gold Mine program.
If you answer one question correctly, Mr. Conklin, we will present to you a fabulous television set.
A television set? Oh, thank you.
An Admiral television set with a crystal clear 16-inch screen.
Good.
However, Mr. Conklin, since today is Saturday and there are no deliveries, you'll have to go down to Sherry's department store and pick it up.
I'll go. What is the question, sir?
Here it is, ready. In the popular song, Call of the Wild Goose, can you give me the words of the first line, whose melody goes... Do you know those words, Mr. Conklin?
I must go where the wild goose goes.
You certainly will.
That is, congratulations, Mr. Conklin. The television set is yours.
I should never have let your mother take the car to that Ladies' Aid meeting, Harriet. Now I'm stranded. A beautiful television set waiting for me at Sherry's, and I'm unable to pick it up.
What's your hurry, Daddy? You can pick it up later.
But there's a program on today that I'm particularly interested in. Maybe someone else could pick it up for me. I wonder who I could get. Oh, I'll get it.
Hello, Mr. Conklin.
Well, if it isn't Miss Brooks, come in, my dear. But leave your coat on.
I just dropped by to leave our cat with Harriet for the afternoon.
Hi, Miss Brooks. Oh, you brought Minerva.
Well, take the beast into the kitchen, Harriet. Miss Brooks and I have something to talk over.
Yes, Daddy. Come on, Minerva. I'll give you a nice bowl of milk.
Miss Brooks, I will come right to the point. Have you any means of transportation?
Yes, sir. Mrs. Davis loaned me her car.
Did she now?
Yes, sir. As a matter of fact, I just stopped by here on my way to Sherry's department store.
You are so right. Miss Brooks, you are now looking at the fortunate winner of a quiz contest. At this very moment, a brand new television set is waiting for me at Sherry's department store.
My.
And who do you think is going to pick it up for me?
Western Union?
No.
The Wells Fargo people?
No, the person I had in mind is the one member of my faculty whom I most admire, respect, and cherish.
Oh, you're going yourself?
No, my car isn't home. Moreover, I must wait here for a call from Mr. Stone. The president of our Board of Education wants to consult me about his speech.
Speech?
Yes, he's addressing the convicts at the dedication of the new library at the county jail. It's being televised this afternoon, Miss Brooks, and I'm most eager to have my set promptly installed.
Oh, but Mr. Conklin, I'm meeting someone at Sherry's.
That is why I was delighted when you so graciously volunteered to pick it up for me.
I volunteered? Well, forgive me, Mr. Conklin, but I didn't hear a word I said.
Oh? Well, you said, and I quote, I'll be most happy to pick it up for you, Mr. Conklin.
But, sir,
And as you spoke, you looked squarely into the eyes of your beloved principal. That self-same principal with whom you come in daily contact, and whose pleasure or displeasure determines whether your life in the hallowed halls of Madison High shall be bearable or unbearable.
I repeat, I'll be most happy to pick it up for you, Mr. Conklin.
Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden, will continue in just a moment. But first,
these very important words. April 2nd, 1950, Our Miss Brooks on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Are you in bad pain? You know what I mean. Your knees hurt. Your shoulder hurts. Your elbow and back are constantly killing you. And I'm sure you've tried every pain pill or cream available at the drugstore. Am I right? Well, here's something you haven't tried. Pain Magic. Pain Magic is not available at any drugstore. The only place you can get it is by calling the special toll-free number I'm about to give you.
And to make things even better, call right now and find out about our buy one, get one free offer. We're so confident it'll work for you that we offer a free bottle with your purchase. No prescription required.
Call now to learn how you can get Pain Magic and get rid of your pain. Remember, your results may vary.
800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. That's 800-492-8164.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, more of Our Miss Brooks starring Eve Arden, April 2nd, 1950.
As soon as I left Mr. Conklin, I drove down to Sherry's department store to find out about his prize. But when I entered the radio and television department, I saw Mr. Boynton standing by a cash register. Immediately, I forgot about Mr. Conklin's prize and concentrated on mine. As I approached him, Mr. Boynton seemed quite preoccupied.
Well, yes, madam. Is there something I can do for you?
Plenty, but not in front of all these people.
Miss Brooks, forgive me for not recognizing you. This sort of work is a little out of my line, but what are you doing here?
Just shopping. But if you're only filling in for your friend for half a day, you will be free all afternoon, won't you?
Oh, yes, I will.
I've just got a little errand to attend to, and then I'll be free, too.
Really? What are you going to do?
Oh, I don't know. I thought I might run down to the poultry market and watch them pluck chickens. Actually, Mr. Boynton, I've borrowed Mrs. Davis's car for the day, and I thought maybe we could take a ride out in the country together.
Oh, fine. While we're waiting, I'll show you around. There's some wonderful new television sets in.
Oh, I'm glad you reminded me. Mr. Conklin asked me to pick up his set and bring it home to him.
Oh, now don't tell me he finally broke down and bought one.
No, he won it in a radio quiz. They called him this morning, he said.
Oh, what a break for him. Where's the set supposed to be?
Right here. Haven't you been notified about it?
Not yet. Maybe there's a memo on my desk. I'll look as soon as I put these tubes up on that shelf over there.
Oh, I'll put the tubes away for you. We better find out about Mr. Conklin's set right away.
All right, Miss Brooks. Have you got something to carry the tubes in? There are quite a few of them.
I'll just put them in my bag. Now you run along.
Well, the desk is just 3 aisles down. If any customers come by, just tell them I'll be back in a minute.
I will, Mr. Boynton.
6 carpet sweepers, 2 Thor glad irons, 4 vacuum cleaners.
Excuse me, Mr. Hurley. You're checking the merchandise again?
As a good store detective, can't be too careful. It's almost automatic with me by now. I'm practically a walking inventory.
Well, there's nothing missing from my department. See you later, Mr. Hurley. I've got to look for something.
Okay. 8 portable radios, 9 record players.
Now, if I could just get these 2 more tubes in this bag, I could save myself a trip.
Too bad that bag isn't larger. Maybe you could get a piano in there.
What? Oh, yes. These big bags do come in handy sometimes, don't they?
I'm sure they do. Perhaps I'd better introduce myself. I'm R.J. Hurley, the store detective here. What are you doing with those tubes, young woman?
These? Why, I'm just going to put them away on that shelf.
Hi, Miss Brooks. Oh, hello, Hurley.
Hello, Boynton. Do you know this woman?
Oh, certainly. She's Miss Brooks.
I'm glad to hear it. Sorry I thought what I thought. But suspicion is my business, you might say. Well, good day, folks. 3 table lamps, 6 floor lamps.
Oh, he's quite a character. But look here, Miss Brooks. I found this note on my desk addressed to Mr. Conklin.
Let's see.
Here.
It says, "Congratulations, Mr. Conklin, but the special set you have won will have to be picked up at Sherry's downtown warehouse. Continued good luck, signed Wallace Bacon, Quizmaster.
The warehouse? That's quite a ways from here, Miss Brooks. You couldn't handle the set by yourself.
Well, I promised Mr. Conklin I'd get it for him,
No, wait a minute. One of the kids from school is working in the stockroom on this floor, Stretch Snodgrass.
Oh, the brain.
I'll get him to keep an eye on the department until my friend gets back, and I'll go along and help you deliver Mr. Conklin's television set.
Great, Mr. Boynton. And as soon as we've done that, we can have the rest of the day to ourselves.
Right. Now let's walk over to the stockroom and get Stretch. Are you ready, Miss Brooks?
Mr. Boynton, I was born ready. That's funny. The warehouse seems deserted. And the door is locked.
Well, let's see. Say, what's this? There's a note sticking out.
A note?
Now, it says, Dear Osgood Conklin, please forgive this oversight, but the warehouse is closed on Saturdays. If you'll return to Sherry's, you'll find your television set there. Signed, Wallace Bacon.
Oh, for heaven's sake. We'll never get out to the country.
Well, what do we do now? Drive back to the store?
No, let's be different. Let's walk and carry the car on our shoulders.
Oh, come on over to the television department, Miss Brooks. Maybe Stretch Snodgrass knows something about this.
Maybe so. He must know something about something.
Hello, Miss Brooks. Hi, Mr. Boynton. What do you know?
Well, not very much, I'm afraid.
Me either.
You're just modest. We're supposed to pick up a television set here that Mr. Conklin won this morning. Has the store manager mentioned it to you, Stretch?
No, ma'am. I haven't seen the manager all morning. And I didn't receive no memo Miranda on it, neither.
No what?
Memo Miranda. But I'll go take a look in the stockroom. Maybe it shut up there while I was out here.
And if Memo Miranda didn't show up, maybe Carmen Miranda dropped in.
No, wait. We've got to get this thing straightened out, Miss Brooks. Stretch, you go into the stockroom and see if they know anything about it in there.
Yes, sir. I'll be back in a jappy.
Yes, Stretch, do hurry up. Hurry up. Look, Mr. Boynton, we can't keep Mr. Conklin waiting any longer. Why don't we just take one of these floor models to him? Between us, we could handle it easily. There's a freight elevator right over there.
But, Miss Brooks, we have no authorization.
Oh, it's bound to come through sooner or later. If Mr. Conklin doesn't get that set today, there'll be no living with him for the rest of the semester.
Maybe you're right.
I know I'm right. Now, let's see. Which one should we take?
Well, they only have 5 models on display. Here's a nice one over here.
Right. Let's roll it into the elevator.
3-speed queen washing machines. 1, 2, 3. 5 television sets. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4? That's funny. I haven't seen any customers in here in an hour. I'd better report this to the store manager right away. Although with a new man in the department, anything could happen. Probably just a mix-up or something.
Oh, Miss Brooks, Miss Brooks. Mr. Boynton. That's funny. They must have left. Gosh, Mr. Conklin will be burning up if he don't get that set he won. I know. I'll bring one of these floor models over to him. At least that'll keep Miss Brooks out of a jam.
Go back and make sure, he says. Make sure I can count up to 4 is what he means. All right, Mr. Store Manager, here goes. 4 television sets. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3.
Come along, Denton. We've got to get that set in a hurry. Here's the television department.
But, Mr. Conklin, maybe you ought to think this thing over. Take your time before...
Thanks to Miss Brooks, I have very little time left. Where she's disappeared to, I'll never know.
But, sir, maybe this whole thing is a mistake. You can't just take a television set off the floor of a store without asking somebody.
Well, there's no one to ask. I was told to pick it up here, and that's just what I'm going to do. Here, if it'll make you feel any better, I'll sign this sales slip and leave it on the counter. Received of Sherry's department store. Television set. Signed, Osgood Conklin.
How could somebody steal a television set, he says? Well, they didn't steal 1, they stole 2. Okay, so count the remaining 3 again, he says. Okay, so I'll count. 1, 2... Oh, come on! Wait a minute. What's this? Received at Sherry's department store. Television set signed Osgood Conklin. Now, that's something new. A crook who leaves a receipt.
Daddy was pretty angry when he made Walter drive him downtown to look for you, Miss Brooks. But now that you and Mr. Boynton have brought this television set, I'm sure everything will be all right.
How long have they been gone, Harriet?
About a half hour. They should be back any minute.
Oh, maybe that's Mr. Conklin now.
I'll get it. I've got some fast apologizing to do.
Let's all go.
Oh, hi, Miss Brooks. Look what I brung. The television set Mr. Conklin won.
Oh, no.
Jeepers.
Good gravy.
Watch your language.
It's on casters, see? Well, where'll I put it?
Put it next to this other set. Mr. Conklin can use them for bookends.
Miss Brooks and Mr. Boynton brought the set that Daddy won. Well, you had no right to take that one from the store.
Well, that'll be reported as stolen.
Holy cow. I'm a fugitive.
Well, I'm as guilty as you are.
Meet Connie Brooks, girl Dillinger.
Well, this is serious, Miss Brooks. What are we going to do with these two sets?
Let's turn them on. Maybe Hopalong Cassidy will ride one of them back to Sherry's.
Hold it steady, Denton. Steady.
Yes, sir.
There we are.
Here we go.
There we are. Oh, hello, everybody. Well, I had to get it myself, but here's the television set I won.
Oh, no.
Jeepers.
Good gravy.
Watch your language. Mr. Conklin, I'd like to tell you
I'll
that
talk to you later, Miss Brooks. Right now, I want to find a likely spot to string the aerial. Come out to the porch with me, Denton.
But, Mr. Conklin, don't you think you better
Oh,
think...
stop jabbering. On second thought, you'd better stay in here. You come with me, Boynton.
Yes, sir.
You too, Harriet. And we may need your long arms, Stretch.
You can have them, Mr. Conklin.
April 2nd, 1950. Our Miss Brooks starring Eve Arden on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. The conclusion comes up next.
Let's see. If something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month, and that's huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. 833-34-BIBLE.
You know how every house has peculiar odors in it, whether it's cigarette smoke or whether it's fish you fried in the kitchen or just about anything? You can clean everything in the house, but you can't clean the air unless you get an Eden Pure Thunderstorm air purifier. Now, these are really neat things. They plug into the wall and stay there. The entire unit plugs into the wall. You don't have to take up any counter space, no filters to replace, and they work fast, and they're quiet. There's one right next to me here in the studio. Yeah, they've already sold over 200,000 of them, and you can get the best deal of all. You can save $200 on an Eden Pure Thunderstorm 3-pack, 3 units, one for every stinky room in the house, and save a lot of money. Go to EdenPureDeals.com, put in my promo code CLASSIC3, and you'll save $200. EdenPureDeals.com, CLASSIC3 is the promo code. Shipping is free. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of Our Miss Brooks starring Eve Arden, April 2nd, 1950, and the April Fool's TV set.
We've got to hurry if we're going to hook this up in time to see Mr. Stone dedicate that library at the county jail.
We're coming, Daddy.
You don't know anything about this, Walter, but we're in a terrible jam. We've already brought 2 other television sets over from Sherry's, and Mr. Conklin's only entitled to 1.
I've got some depressing news for you, Miss Brooks. He's not entitled to any.
What?
That quiz program that called him up was just an April Fool joke.
April Fool? But who would play such a monstrous joke?
Shake hands with the head monster.
Walter, you didn't.
Well, I only wanted to send Mr. Conklin on a wild goose chase.
Now, I've got news for you, Walter. Shake hands with a wild goose.
Well, thanks for the assistance, folks. Now, let's see where we'll place the set. This is a good spot right between these other 2 sets. I may not be an interior decorator, but I do have an eye for symmetry. When I see a nice balance... Between these other two sets! Miss Brooks, what are these other two sets doing in my living room?
They just came in to watch the television.
I tried to tell you, sir, that Miss Brooks and I brought one over before.
And I brought one over right after that, Mr. Conklin, because I didn't know that they brought one over any more than you knew that they brought one over, or I brought one over.
Oh, quiet! Am I to understand that two of these television sets have been stolen?
At least.
Then what's the store going to do when they find out that I have taken a third one?
Does that answer your question?
Look, there's a police car stopping in front of the house.
I just remembered. I gotta go home and mow the lawn.
Stand where you are, Duncan! You're in this as deep as we are.
Deeper.
Don't move, anybody.
Mr. Hurley.
Well, if it isn't Miss Brooks, the little lady with the big bag. Now, Brooks, what's your story?
My story?
You heard me. Start singing.
I must go where the wild goose goes. What the wild goose knows.
Just a moment. May I ask the meaning of this outrageous and illegal invasion of my privacy?
Oh, you must be the brains of the mob.
This mob has no brain. I mean, this is no mob.
If you don't count television sets, there are very few of us here.
These sets are all the evidence I need. And as this is your house, Mr. Conklin, you're the only one who'll have to come with me to the county jail.
Jail? But you can't do that. Miss Brooks, do something. Say something.
So long.
But I don't want to go down there alone. Mr. Boynton, Miss Brooks, you can't let me go alone. You've got to come with me to the county jail.
Oh, that won't be necessary, Mr. Conklin.
Not necessary?
No, we can watch you on television in 15 minutes. Well, Harriet Conklin corroborated her father's story that he'd been told he won a radio in a quiz contest. Mr. Hurley then took the 3 sets back to Sherry's and left a relieved but aggravated Mr. Conklin sitting in his living room.
But if it wasn't Wallace Bacon on the phone, I was the victim of an outrageous hoax.
It was only a little April Fool joke, Mr. Conklin.
Oh, it was. But who played it on me, Miss Brooks?
That I really can't say.
You really can't, Miss Brooks?
Of course not, Walter. We April Fools have to stick together.
Next week, tune into another Our Miss Brooks show brought to you by Luster Cream Shampoo for soft, glamorous, caressable hair and Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth and help stop tooth decay. Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden, is produced by Larry Burns, written by Al Lewis, with Joe Quillen and Lester White, and the music of Wilbur Hatch under the direction of Maurice Carlton. Mr. Boynton is played by Jeff Chandler, Mr. Conklin by Gail Gordon. Others in tonight's cast were Jane Morgan, Dick Crenna, Gloria McMillan, Leonard Smith, and Willard Waterman.
Such a wonderful cast. April 2nd, 1950, Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden, on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
No offense, but are you a little fat when you look in the mirror? How would you like to learn the secrets to lose 3 to 5 pounds a week easily without joining the gym or going through any crazy diets? It's called Body Sculpt by Med Diet. For the last 2 decades, we've been helping people just like you that have pounds they want to shed. We've helped millions of people lose thousands and thousands of pounds over the years. And now it's your turn. Learn the secrets of how to lose weight with one simple phone call. You'll see an amazing difference in a matter of days. Don't believe us? We'll offer you a money-back guarantee. If you're ready to start losing weight right now, call right now to learn more about your risk-free order to Body Sculpt.
Call for your risk-free offer. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. That's 800-738-5332.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the second part of a special series produced by the National Council of Catholic Men leading up to Easter 1942. This is entitled The Living God. This originally broadcast Thursday, April 2nd, 1942.
the living God. You will hear William Gargan as the roving announcer, Juno O'Connor as the old woman, and Pedro de Cordova as the voice of Jesus in the greatest drama of the ages, the living God. Yesterday, we left our narrator in Jerusalem in the year 33, where he had been taken by faith in his search for the living God. We find him now at the corner of one of Jerusalem's narrow cobbled streets.
Ladies and gentlemen, the situation is ominous. I've been wandering about the streets of Jerusalem since yesterday, and I've had the feeling of an impending drama. Small groups of people were talking in narrow streets. They were saying, impossible to stand this Jesus any longer. We'll have him condemned legally. Whoever could have foretold such a sudden change? I'm speaking to you from the door of the guest chamber where Peter and John are preparing the Lord's Supper. Night is falling and the apostles are arriving in groups, coming back from Bethania. First is Jesus, then James and Andrew, followed by Philip and Bartholomew, Thomas, Matthew, James the son of Alphaeus, Simon and Judas holding the purse. Low couches are arranged around a big rectangular table and the apostles are taking their places. Jesus is in the center, and on his left is John, and on his right is Peter. On Peter's right is Judas. Jesus is standing. He's going to speak.
With desire, I have desired to eat this Pasch with you before I suffer.
Jesus is now putting down his coat and is filling a basin with water. The apostles, taken back, are watching him. Jesus is bent down in front of Peter and is washing his feet. Peter is speaking.
Thou shalt never wash my feet.
If I wash thee not, Peter, thou shalt have no part with me.
Lord, not only my feet, but also my hands and my head.
He that is washed needeth not but to wash his feet, but is clean, holy. And you are clean, but not all.
Jesus seems troubled.
Amen, amen, I say to you, one of you shall betray me.
Lord, is it I?
He that dippeth his hand with me in the dish, he shall betray me.
Judas has raised his hand, and it's trembling.
Is it I, Rabbi?
Thou hast said it.
I think Jesus answered, "Thou hast said it." But he spoke in so low a voice that nobody seemed to hear him. John is now leaning toward Jesus.
Lord, who is it? It is to whom I shall reach bread dipped.
He's giving it to Judas, who suddenly has turned pale and is getting up.
That which thou dost, do quickly.
Judas is leaving the room. His face is strained, desperate. Where is he going? Jesus watches him as he goes. Outside, the night has come. Candles are lighted. The face of Jesus is relaxed, and he's standing once more. He's giving the bread around to his apostles.
Take ye and eat. This is my body.
Accipite et manducati ex hoc omnes. Hoc est enim corpus meum.
Whose voice is that? Whence comes the echo in Latin of those extraordinary words just spoken for the first time? An echo which will go on and on, no matter what happens, until the end of time. But look, Jesus takes the chalice, and giving thanks, he blesses it and gives it to his disciples.
Drink ye all of this, for this is the chalice of my blood, which shall be shed for you and for many unto the remission of sins. As often as you shall do these things, you shall do them in remembrance of me.
Et utiuscumque feceritis in me memoriam faciete.
In his memory. In his memory it will be done over and over again. Millions and millions of times throughout the centuries. In all the world, in the temples builded in his name. Could it be possible that I am witnessing the first of all masses?
A new commandment I give unto you, that you love one another, as I have loved you. By this shall all men know that you are my disciples, if you have love one for another. Little children, yet a little while I am with you. You shall seek me, and as I said to the Jews, whither I go, you cannot come, so I say to you now.
Lord, whither goest thou?
Whither I go, thou canst not follow me now, but thou shalt follow Peter hereafter.
The disciples appear troubled. They look one to another.
Dear Lord, why must we...
Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God. Believe also in me. In my Father's house there are many mansions. If not, I would have told you, because I go to prepare a place for you. And if I shall go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and will take you to myself, that where I am, you also may be. And whither I go, you know, and the way you know.
Lord, we know not whither thou goest, and how can we know the way?
I am the way, and the truth, and the life. No man cometh to the Father but by me. If you had known me, you would without doubt have known my Father also, and from henceforth you shall know him, and you have seen him.
Lord, show us the Father, that it is enough.
Have I been so long a time with you, and have you not known me? Philip, he that seeth me, seeth the Father also. Arise, let us go hence.
They are now leaving the guest chamber. The night wind is coming in the open door. I have been following Jesus and his disciples, and now they are nearing the Mount of Olives. He has been talking to them all the way, and now as they enter the garden, he is looking at them with anguish and tenderness.
All you shall be scandalized in me this night, for it is written, I will strike the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock shall be dispersed. But after I shall be risen again, I will go before you into Galilee.
Though I should die with thee, I, Peter, will not deny thee.
Amen, I say to thee. Today, even in this night, before the cock crow twice, thou shalt deny me thrice. Simon, Simon, behold, Satan hath desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat. But I pray for thee, that thy faith fail not, and thou, being once converted, confirm thy brethren.
And now, with him, Jesus is taking Peter, John, and his brother James aside. He turns to them.
My soul is sorrowful even unto death. Stay you here and watch with me.
He has walked away from them and has fallen to his knees. His head is bowed in prayer. He is alone. The disciples are falling asleep. All is silent. Now Jesus stirs. He slowly lifts his head. He rises. Now he walks back to his disciples who are still asleep.
Simon, sleepest thou?
At the sound of his voice, James and Peter open their eyes.
Couldst thou not watch 1 hour? Watch ye and pray, that you enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak.
No one answers. Maybe they don't know what to answer. They're heavy with sleep. Jesus leaves them to go back to his solitude. Once again he kneels in prayer. His body is racked in agony. His face anguished. A bloody sweat appears upon his brow. Overwhelmed, he falls prostrate as if under the crushing weight of an intolerable burden.
My Father, if it be possible, let this chalice pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou wilt.
A sullen moon is spreading its dismal rays over the garden. Over towards the valley of the Cedron, I see lights moving about. The apostles have awakened. Jesus is going back towards them. They look at him as if they hardly knew him. Yes, Jesus has changed. An expression of infinite sadness covers his face.
Sleep ye now, and take your rest.
But, Lord,
It is enough. The hour is come. Behold, the Son of Man shall be betrayed into the hands of sinners. Rise up, let us go. Behold, he that will betray me is at hand.
And look, the olive grove is red. Red with the glowing of torches and lanterns. A crowd approaches. There's Judas. He goes toward Jesus and puts his arms around his master's neck.
Friend, whereto art thou come? Judas, dost thou betray the Son of Man with a kiss?
Judas turns away quickly. The crowd comes nearer. Soldiers advance toward Jesus.
Whom seek ye?
Jesus of Nazareth.
I am he.
Suddenly the soldiers draw back. They fall to the ground, as if for a moment the majesty of this man has overawed them. The soldiers are on their feet again. They advance on Jesus to seize him. Peter draws a sword and strikes the ear of one of the aggressors. Jesus turns to him.
Put again thy sword into its place, for all that take the sword shall perish with the sword.
Jesus touched the wounded aggressor's ear. The soldier gets up. His ear is healed. Jesus turns to the scribes and the high priests.
Are ye come out, as it were, against a thief with swords and clubs? When I was daily with you in the temple, you did not stretch forth your hands against me. But this is your hour, and the power of darkness.
Now they're binding Jesus with chains. They're leading him away by the path of the Brook's Edron.
But to think, only yesterday he was led in triumph through Jerusalem.
You're here?
Yes, it is I, the old woman. I had to come.
And what are you going to do now?
Stay with his mother. She needs help. In a few hours, stranger, you will be in the court of the Palace of Caiaphas.
Tell me, what are they going to do to him?
I will see you there tomorrow.
Wait. Darkness. Silence.
You have been listening to The Living God, presented in cooperation with the National Council of Catholic Men. Heard on today's program were William Gargan as the roving announcer, Una O'Connor as the old woman, and Pedro de Cordova as the voice of Jesus. Supporting roles were played by professional Hollywood actors and the radio players of Loyola University of Los Angeles. Special musical scoring and effects by Robert Mitchell and the St. Brendan's Boys Choir. The Living God has been adapted from the French of Sita and Suzanne Millar. This program has been produced under the direction of Martin Work.
As it was broadcast Thursday, April 2nd, 1942, The Living God, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. We thank you for tuning in today and hope you will join us at our webpage, which is classicradio.stream. You can stream our shows on demand there, learn more about classic radio collecting, and you can contact me there, classicradio.streaming. Hear the shows there if you miss it here on this station. You don't have to miss a single show. You can also hear our shows through iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, TuneIn, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or Amazon. Just search for Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. And please take a moment to drop a note to this radio station. Thank them for bringing us on the air here and support the advertisers. It is their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be with you each time we roll around here on your favorite station. And tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite station.